Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So this is like white women really do having they are having emotional meltdown. Why? You all remember where a black woman was saying that black women would rather sit with white men than white women. Okay, you all remember that her account got reported and she got demonetized, and now they have not stopped there. I mean, they still go to this woman's comment section, cursing her out, calling her mon and kin, calling her ape, calling her so many names, right? And they have really been looking for a way to, I mean, like bring that young woman down. And they are asking why is it that her account is still very much active and all that, and that they will make sure that the account goes down, right? And now this boils down to the fear black women are having, especially while working with them. A lot of them have refused to listen. A lot of them have refused to learn because if only they understand the angle where black women are coming from, why they choose white men over them, the aggression and the microaggression and all that they receive at work and the rest of it is nothing to write home about. But then the comment section is really worrisome because you can actually see how mean most of them are.
Hey, white women. I know y'all are getting real excited about the man versus bear conversation. I get it. But I just want us to sit in our hut of humility real quick and know that this is the same thing, same-ish thing as me asking, hey, black women, hey, you're at work and you're alone in a room. Who would you rather walk in right now? You don't know what it is, a white man or a white woman. You're in a conference room alone. You have to be with one or the other. Which one is it going to be? Now, be careful how you feel about this, because how did man feel when we picked bear, okay? All right, women, I just want us all to just be in our proper placement. I love the conversation. I just, you know what I'm here for. That's it.
Good morning. So I'm scrolling on TikTok and I see that the white woman whisperer is back. I'm glad to see it. She wasn't really on my radar until I saw a lot of my sisters doing videos about what happened to her. And in case you don't know, in a nutshell, she is a woman of color who speaks very honestly about how harmful white women are to black women and other women of color. She was the one who posed the question about, would you rather have the white man come into the conference room or the white woman? And because black women picked the white man, white women got in their feelings. Again, this is why so many of us don't F with y'all, because it is the demand that we put your feelings above that of our own. That gets me every time. They all got together and demonetized her platform because they didn't like the truth. And just so that we are clear, the truth is that black women find white women to be way more harmful than white men, which is why so many of us chose the white man. And a lot of you thought that we should side with you based on gender alone. And that would be great, except for history. And then there's that other thing, what is it again? Oh yeah, right. Our lived experiences with you. Well, enough of that. While scrolling through her comments, I saw a comment by a white woman, and she was talking to other white women. And usually when white women talk to other white women, particularly about race, and they're trying to set other white women straight, I tend to not interfere with that, even when I disagree. But I keep seeing something coming up, and this is what I want to set straight. White women, you do not internalize racism. Internalized racism is what Black people and other people of color experience. It is a type of self-loathing that we experience because of racism and the harm that it does to us mentally. It does so much harm where we can lean into those ideologies as Black people and people of color. I'll give you an example. Colorism. And colorism is the belief that some Black people have that the lighter our skin is, the better we are. The closer to looking white that we are, the better we are. Crazy, I know, but some of us think like that. That is an example of internalized racism. That's not what you're experiencing. What you are experiencing is your racism. It's just good old-fashioned racism. And I get where that might be hard for you to hear, but it is what it is. That is the God's honest truth. As a Black person living in a racist America, I have had to do the work of deconstructing my internalized racism. I don't like having to admit that as a Black person who counts herself as conscious. But I wasn't born conscious. I had to grow in my consciousness, and I'm still growing in my consciousness. And while Black people and other people of color have to do the work of dismantling that, you have to do the work of deconstructing and dismantling your racism. It's just racism. Now, if you are still confused, I suggest that you buy some books, read those books, educate yourself, follow white creators who are further along in dismantling their own racism so that you can confront your own truth. Have a good day.
You have to be with one or the other. Which one is it going to be?
Sis, we're gonna go there. Okay, listen. I love this. All right. Man versus bear. We know why so many people choose bear. That's fine. But Black woman goes into a conference room by herself, minding her business, but she has to choose who comes into that room with her when she's alone. A white woman or a white man. And people in her comments, this creator's comments, were so surprised to find that Black women would prefer it to be a white man. So why? Yeah, so people are saying, well, wait, I'm a white woman and I'm an ally. I'd never attack a Black woman. I would never SA a Black woman. I would never, fight a Black woman. It's not physical safety. It's not physical harm that we're concerned about. And I know that that's what white women are always concerned about for a very good reason when it comes to men. We still have concerns about our physical safety, but I'm much more concerned about racism in that situation. Yeah, because when it comes to a white man, his racism is much more blatant. It's much more obvious. When that white man comes into the conference room, if he has a problem, it's very clear in his eye contact, it's very clear in his tone, in his body language, in his lack of eye contact. I know what I'm dealing with right away. I'm like, boom, I know who you are. The white woman, it's much more insidious. I might not find out for years that this white woman has a problem with Black people. Now, when we're talking about man versus bear, are we saying all men? No, of course not. We're not saying that all men are worse than being mauled by a bear. Obviously not. We experience men all the time. We love men. It's fine. But I don't know if that man is going to be my best friend. I don't know if that man is a good man. I don't know if he's going to be my worst nightmare. But I do know what I'm getting into when it comes to the bear. And it's the same situation here. I do know what I'm getting into when it comes to that white man most of the time. The majority of the time. The high majority of the time. The white woman, I don't always know. Right? Because that racism can be so insidious. Right? So working in DEI, I have to deal with microaggressions all the time. And it just happens, right? But 80% of the time, I would say the perpetrator, in my experience, is a white woman, which is like, it is what it is. Everyone has committed a microaggression at some point in their life. But it's the way that gets handled. When I call in a white man for a microaggression, he's either going to accept my advice and move on, grow, or I'm gonna have to escalate it and pass the baton on over to HR. The white woman, I'm going to have to deal with a different level of defensiveness. Not all the time, but a good portion of the time. I have to deal with white tears. I have to deal with centering. I have to deal with virtue signaling. I have to deal with other things that can be very problematic. That's very sneaky to get me out of my role. I have had this experience. I have had so many conversations with Black women who've not only had to leave their job, get fired from their jobs for reasons they shouldn't have, but I have talked to Black women who've had to leave their industry because of the experience that they've had with white women who are racist. Now, does that mean that all white women are a problem? No, but it's good to understand that there's like an extra sense of guardedness, and it's important to understand that that there needs to be like a good intention of building trust, because there's so much history there. Not only just history, there's so much lived experience that Black women have had with a white woman who may have seemed really friendly, but it turns out had a lot of problems with Black people, and it's an issue. So I think that when we take a look at this situation, if it's something that makes you feel really fired up, instead of being mad, ask yourself why it's that way. The last thing that I'll say is, in the comments, there's a lot of people that are saying, white women specifically, that are saying, you know, I just don't understand. I need you to explain this to me. I need you to be gentle with me when you explain this to me. I need you to share a resource with me, right? And I had told somebody in the comments, I made the mistake of saying, well, just Black women have written about this for a long time, that go read one of those. I need you to send me a link. That's the shit I'm talking about. Like, I'm an ally, just send me over a link and I'll learn from that. No, look it up yourself. It's that sense of, I'm like now your indentured servant and I have to go and do the work for you. Well, I want a more personal touch. I'm not here to give you the white glove treatment for my oppression. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like being conscious of that issue, I think, is very important for folks to do. And yeah, I'm open for the dialogue.
One of my favorite creators on this app, W0men Whisperer, posed a sub-question to the man versus bear question, which was, Black women, you are alone in a conference room. Who do you want to walk in? A white man or a white woman? And the answer overwhelmingly has been white man. And there are a lot of white women in the comments, angry, vitriolic, that she dared pose this question, that the answer dare be men instead of women, because we want to think of ourselves as better, right? I just want to ask you, I want to invite you to this. If you are mad about that question, if you are feeling vitriolic about people saying that white women are doing as much harm as white men, where do you feel that in your body? Where is that coming up for you? If you are angry about this, if you are feeling powerful emotions about that, where are you feeling that? Because that is where you are holding misogyny and racism in your body. And deconstruction is not just a matter of the mind, it's a matter of processing it in your body. That's an invitation to learn about yourself.
She literally called out all white women. How is that not supposed to be upsetting to us as a whole collectively? Black people can be racist too. Case in point. I want to first thank this person for their bravery. They've been so brave. They first showed up and said, I'm a white woman, and it's ridiculous to say that we're a threat to anybody. I have nothing to apologize for. To which I said, okay, then don't apologize. Why did you have to share this here? Then they go on to say she literally called out. First of all, the she is me. The she that said that is me. I know sometimes the comments can be confusing, even though it'll say creator right next to my name, but that's who it is. Next, let's go with some definitions. Let's just have a quick lesson on definitions. The word literally, let's start with that. I understand that it's been used a lot on the internet and used as a way to say, oh my gosh, so drastic or a huge amount. But if we're going to talk about literally, it means that it is actually happening. That's the first mistake that we have, because what you're saying next about all white women did not happen. I said white women, and because you want to borrow the outrage of somebody else, or perhaps you see yourself in what I'm saying, and instead of accepting that, it's just denial, or maybe it actually isn't you, but you just can't keep your mouth shut. You assume that all is in front of white women. It's also so interesting to me, how much attention you seem to need to tell me that you weren't going to do something, when you could have in fact just ignored me and scrolled on. That need to tell me that you're not going to do something when an apology wasn't asked for, and that need to say that you have nothing to apologize for, that need to say that you've done nothing wrong. I'm a stranger on the internet. I've said to people before that have been here doing anti-racism work, in the beginning of it, they were just so excited to tell me what was going on, or so excited to say what they had done in the past. And I've said, I'm not a confessional.
I am not here for your absolution. And the same thing goes on the other side. I don't care if you're not going to do anything that makes you look like a decent human being. That's none of my business. By you telling me, though, now I know. And now I'm going to share with everybody. We didn't have to get here. Let's talk sense of urgency, and let's do it through the lens of white supremacy. If we're looking at sense of urgency not through the lens of white supremacy, then it could just look like I have to rush to get everything done. I have to be perfect. It has to be done right away. I have to be the first one to get something done because that shows I'm the best. And all of those things I just described still tie into white supremacy, but not in the way that I'm thinking about it. The other way that the sense of urgency, if you look at sense of urgency through the lens of white supremacy, then you're thinking about this rush to power and to profit is what it really comes down to, because those are systems of oppression. Power obviously puts people in a position of power over other people, and then profit is money is capitalism, all connected. So when we talk about the sense of urgency when it comes to activism or faux activism or even allyship or faux allyship, a lot of times what's happening, especially if you have a white person that is doing social justice work or anti-racism work or decolonizing work, they rush to get their name out there first. Going back to the first way that we described the sense of urgency, get their name out there first. They have to be the first one to do it because that shows that they're the best and that they care about it the most. It is the most important thing to them, so they're going to do the most important thing doing it. Another thing is that position of power. And listen to me when I say this, because it's going to sound like I'm talking about one specific person, and I'm not. But that rush to power ends up being a rush to profit, because people will find themselves in positions where they are the face of an organization or a movement. They will find themselves being the mouthpiece for an organization or a movement, and oftentimes what we can see happen is the power that comes with those opportunities getting to people's heads. And sometimes what happens when those opportunities go to people's head, then they find themselves seeking more opportunities to have more power or more control over a situation. And what often comes with that is more money, more opportunities to make money. Now again, I am not saying that was the mindset of what happened in the most recent situation. I am not saying that is what happened in the most recent situation. What I'm saying is that you are not aware of the fact that you are operating through a sense of urgency, because that is something that is ingrained in really all of us, because that's the way this world is set up. But if you're not aware of the fact that I might be moving with a sense of urgency to try to be the first one out there, to try to be the first one to get this done. If you're not thinking, why am I in such a rush to make sure that my name and my voice is out there instead of looking at something that's already been done? If you're not checking in with yourself on those things, then that sense of urgency that you're working through can very easily become a sense of urgency that is being guided by white supremacy. Again, wait, why am I talking? Take a beat to think about what you're going to say, why you're going to say it, and the effect it's going to have, the impact it's going to have. A few things. It's dark in here. I don't have my AC units in, and it is warm in Chicago. So I've got the blinds closed so that Jackson and I don't melt. So it's going to be a little bit dark in here. It's called mood lighting. I'm also in a terrible mood today. I'm fighting with my credit union. They have my account. None of that matters, but I'm in a terrible mood. I'm in a terrible mood, which means I have some extra time today. And the time that I have is for this comment. Making your entire personality about hating white women is racist. Y'all can deny it. I'll make a black girl whisper, and we'll see how that goes. With a little emoji with the hearts on it. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you might say, Portia, why are you dealing with this? This is hot garbage, and we know that. And it is. But again, I have time today. And that means that when I have time today, that means I'm going to get some of my frustrations out. But I think this is hilarious. I think it's hilarious that somebody can determine somebody's entire personality based on the fact they don't like something that somebody has to say. I want more people to just really get in touch with the fact that they can like somebody and they can dislike somebody. That doesn't mean that you know everything about them. You just don't like them, and that's fine. Not everybody has to like everybody. I want more people to have like more adult understanding about how to interact or not interact with people. And I hope that this person, heavens to Betsy, realizes that. Another thing, and this is something that I'm always going to laugh about, is the fact that these people are cowards. They show up to these accounts and make statements like, I'll make a black girl whisper and see how that goes, behind a private account, hiding who they are, but feeling so big and bold. But when I say that when we have conversations about race, that we're the racists, meanwhile, we've got our faces out honestly, because I still want the best for people, I hope that they go find their local Klan chapter, because they will be so ready and welcome for them. To just say things with your face covered and run and hide because you're afraid of what might happen. Go join a club. I just cannot imagine being this miserable. I just can't.
Asking, hey, black women, hey, you're at work.
The creator is talking about giving the scenario to black women. Would you rather be in a conference room with a white woman or a white man? And a lot of the consensus is that we would rather be in a room with a white man. And it's because, white men are more blatant. Just like racism in the South is like less tricky than racism in the North. It's still racism. And so for me, I worked in fashion for 12 years. I went to school with all white women. In college, and I grew up in an all black neighborhood, so that was a huge culture shock. But I will say that I agree. And I have best friends that are white. I have, coworkers that I learned so much from, so many people who I very deeply and intimately appreciate. However, there are so many, even the most people with the well intentions have so many blind spots. And I just think I had to come to the conclusion that I just don't trust white women unless they earn my trust. And I feel like I'm the opposite with black women. With most people, I'm a very trusting person. Maybe that's my naivete, maybe that's my ADHD. But with white women, there's always a bit of a... And when I look back at my career and who has fucked with me the most, it could just be proximity, but is white women or is people who align with whiteness. My first, but it was a different time. I forgive her, I guess. I don't know, but yeah.
So I saw the video. As a black woman, would you rather basically be in a conference room and see a white man or a white woman? So it got me thinking, who are the worst people to work with in corporate America? As a black woman who has been in corporate America for the last 10 years, I have opinions on this. So this list is the top 5 worst people in corporate America to work with as a black woman. And the list is from worst to worser. Number 1, Asian millennial men. And especially because I have worked in the tech space for so long, I typically have worked with East Asian and Southeast Asian men. And when I say disgusting to work with as a black woman. Matter of fact, the first racist joke I ever heard in the workplace was when I was interning with another Southeast Asian man. The only thing worse than a millennial Asian man is an old millennial white woman. And old millennial, I'm talking about like if he was born in like between the 1990s to the mid 80s, no. The mid 30s, early 40s girls, they really want to take you down because like they want to seem progressive and like, hey girl boss, while secretly trying to tear you down. Top 3 worst people to work with in corporate America to the boomer white woman. Boomer white women, like, especially if they remember, like, these are the ones that remember Jim Crow. Like, they should actually not be working. They should be retiring. And because they're, like, at retirement age, they don't want to change nothing. They don't want to, like, be helpful in any way. Rolling into top 2, Gen X white women. I don't know what it is about Gen X white women, but, like, that mid-40s, early 50s, like, they about to become empty nesters. They want to hate. They have hate in their heart. But not in a girl boss way, in a I don't like you way. Very blatant. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The worst group of people to work with as a black woman, as a nice zillennial corporate girly, Gen X black women. I've had the most workplace trauma from Gen X black women. Like, not even joking. Most times I felt bullied in the workplace was from a Gen X black woman. First time I got fired was from a Gen X black woman. This is just my experience, okay? Please don't shoot me. I've had good experiences with some of these people in
So this is
these
all I
groups,
got
but
from
these are my
this
worst.
video, and sincerely speaking, I don't know how to, start with this because this has actually lingered, That young lady who actually came out to ask question about, being in the same conference room as a black woman, being in a conference room with a white woman or white men, and a lot of white women were angry that black women were going to choose white men, right? They are really doing everything. I can imagine for some weeks that I reported this to this very moment, that young lady is still being trolled, and they are still working so hard. She's already been demonetized, right? But they also want her account to go. That's why you can see all the things, like a lot of people are still talking about it, saying that most of them, they really do know what they are doing. So it means that they have also proven black women's point, because majority said that they would rather work with white men. Why? Because according to them, white women are problematic. These kind of people that you work with, they are kind of smiling and all that, but not all that smiling, because it's not from their heart. And a lot of people have shared their experiences working with them and the rest of it. It is not a good experiences, and they really are. See, the truth is that I cannot take away something from somebody. People know what they want, and people know what they experience and all that. And they are saying that why is it that she is generalizing? I don't think she generalized. About like the question when people said men versus bear, right? Most women chose bear. That doesn't mean that it's all men, right? And when she also said being in a conference room with white men or white women, and everybody chose white women, black women said white men. That also doesn't mean that it's all white women that are bad in workplaces and all that. But some of them have refused to learn. One thing is that some of them find it very hard to understand why black people are saying something. Or, however, some of them actually understand, but they refuse to unlearn and relearn. Why? Because they are just used to their way of doing things, and they think they will always get away with it. Look at I am going to put some some comments so you all can see what people are saying. It means a lot of people have been through it all. They have gone, they have experienced them. They have seen what they can do in workplaces. I have actually also worked with them, and I have also experienced them. I have my own experience with them. Other people have their own experiences with them and all that. But the fact that they refuse to listen, and they do not want to be taught, because they feel like they are being talked down on, how would you all not choose to work with women? Because to them, it is women supporting women. But the ones that refuse to learn also are coming out to say that black women are very rare to the cis white, because why would they choose white men over them? So the problem now is not them trying to trace back the things that they are doing or the things they have done to people already in workplaces, or probably not workplaces, outside workplaces and all that, probably look for a way to make changes and all that. They are still looking for a way to ignite fire and make matter worse. Now they are asking, why is it that her own her account is still active? Why won't her account be very much active? Now the truth is that a lot of these people are kind of very wild. We see a lot of things going. The woman did not say anything wrong. She actually spoke her mind, and also the experiences of black people have encountered working with white women, right? And on daily basis, we also see videos of how microaggression and passive, so many of it, right? And all that. And then moving forward, they do not want to listen. They just do not want to hear that. All they want is look for a way to bring this young woman's account, because some of them are asking, why is it that your account is still up? I know you've been demonetized, but your account is still up, and we cannot wait for your account to go down. Like, I really don't get it. So it means that what Black women are saying, they did not lie, you know? So you all are also looking for a way to camouflage, like, cover it up. But there is no atom of lie in what Black women said. And that is a period. So now, who is right? We all can say who is right. Because their attitude already has shown that it is very hard, really hard to work with them. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.